Hello and welcome to Let's Play Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, with me, Bring It Dawn. Before I actually get started, I do want to make clear this episode will be focused on character creation. I'll go through some of the settings I'll be playing the game with as well. I'm going to be explaining some of the terminology, because Baldur's Gate is based on the 2nd edition rule set for Dungeons & Dragons. A lot of people aren't familiar with that unless you probably grew up playing Baldur's Gate or 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons, but I feel like most people started with 3rd edition. It took me a little while to get used to like Thaco and things like that, so I'll explain it as we go through the character creation. But anyway, Baldur's Gate was released on December 21st, 1998. It's a 20-year-old game. But it was actually re-released. This is the Enhanced Edition. It was released in 2012. And like I said previously, it's based on the 2nd edition rule set for Dungeons & Dragons. And they actually released a expansion, Siege of Dragonspear here, in 2016. Some people see it as a little divisive. I've seen a lot of negativity in regards to the expansion. I haven't played it myself. I can't attest to it. But hey, more content for Baldur's Gate is more content for Baldur's Gate, right? So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I do have a lot of experience with the game. I didn't own it until the Enhanced Edition was released on Steam. But I did play it growing up at a friend's house. But I've never beaten Baldur's Gate. I have made it to the final boss, but I've never beaten the game. So this is going to be a somewhat new experience for me. I am very familiar with the game. I know a lot of the game. I'm sure I've forgotten some things since the last time I played. Last time I played was when the Enhanced Edition came out. I played a Gnome Illusionist, and I made it to Durlog's Tower. And then I was like, you know what, I'll just save this, I'll do a Let's Play of it in a few years when I start doing Let's Plays. And so here we are, finally covering it. I know a lot of people were looking forward to this Let's Play, myself included. And it's also split on whether or not I wanted to do the Black Pits first, because chronologically, the Black Pits takes place before the campaign of Baldur's Gate. Though there are very, very few tie-ins. I'm pretty sure it's just one character that's tied into the main story. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump in. Well, let's look at my settings. So first off, I will be playing on core rules and see how that goes, because I feel like that's kind of how the game was designed to be played. I try to pick the difficulty that I feel the game was designed to be played around, and I feel like the core rule set is that difficulty. Auto pause, I have everything on auto pause because it's been a while since I've played. I'm going to be a little rusty. I don't want to risk dying. Actually, I meant to turn that on as well. I'll probably end up changing some of these once I get used to the gameplay again. And that's really it. I'm hoping this sounds okay. I've played with it for quite a bit this morning. Anyway, let's go and jump in. Single player. We're going to do a new game. So gender, we'll do male. And again, this is a vanilla playthrough. I don't remember if I mentioned that. No mods or anything. Because I do feel like Baldur's Gate is one of those games that just stands the test of time. You don't need mods. I mean, mods help if you have a lot of experience in the game, but for the sake of this Let's Play, it will be vanilla. May do modded playthroughs in the future, but for now, it is not modded. So with the Enhanced Edition on Steam, I think it came with the Faces of Good and Evil expansion, or DLC, for free upon purchase, so you get a few new portraits here. I don't really like any of them. Siege of Dragonspear also came out with some portraits. I think this is from Siege of Dragonspear. Don't quote me on that though, but I don't remember it in the base game. I was split between this portrait and my personal favorite, this one right here. Looking at that portrait, you can probably already tell what class I'm going to play. I'll be playing a human. Humans are the predominant race in Faerun. Humans rule most of the significant empires and kingdoms in the realms. They're the most social and tolerant of races, excepting perhaps the halflings. Humans may advance as any class and are also the only race that can dual class. Humans may not multi-class. So I split between a human and a dwarf. There is a dwarf exclusive class that I was tempted to play, but I decided against it. The Dwarven Defender. I'll be playing as a human. We'll be picking Paladin. So a Paladin is a warrior bold and pure, the exemplar of everything good and true. Like the fighter, the Paladin is a person of action and combat. However, the Paladin lives for the ideals of righteousness, justice, honesty, piety, and chivalry, and strives to be a living example of these virtues, so that others may learn from him as well as gain by his actions. The class features may wear helmets, may wear any armor and use any weapon, may not exceed specialization 2 slots in any weapon class, may achieve specialization 2 slots in any fighting style and allocate 3 slots in 2 weapon fighting and 2 weapon style. Jeez. May use Lay on Hands ability once per day to heal a target for 2 hit points per level of the Paladin. May cast Detect Evil once per day per level, starts at first level with 4 uses. May cast Protection from Evil once per day per level, starts at first level with 1 use. May turn undead as a cleric 2 levels lower, starting at level 3. May cast Priest Spell starting at level 9. Receives a +2 bonus to all saving throws. Alignment restricted to lawful good. Hit die D10. Also, so if I go back and I pick, let's go back to race. Say I pick a dwarf, right? You can't be a paladin. Humans are the only race that can be paladins in Baldur's Gate. Forgot to mention that. So anyway, pick Paladin, and then once I select that, it's going to bring up these kits. I highly recommend never picking the base Paladin. It is weaker than all of its kits, unless you're role-playing for some reason. And I was very split between these 2 classes, the Blackguard and the Cavalier. I'm going to read both of them, because the Blackguard is my favorite class, but we're going to actually be playing the Cavalier this playthrough, and I'll explain why in a minute. Anyway, the Blackguard epitomizes evil and is nothing short of a mortal fiend. The quintessential Black Knight, this villain carries a reputation of the foulest sort that is very well deserved. Consorting with demons and devils and serving dark deities, the Blackguard is hated and feared by all. Some people call these villains anti-paladins, due to their completely evil nature. I love this class. It's fantastic. There's a companion you can get in the Enhanced Edition that is this class, and it's a blast to play, in my opinion. But because I am going to be playing through both Baldur's Gate games and the third one when it's released by Larian Studios in the future, I had to decide upon a party to carry with me. And I was deliberating who my companions were going to be in this playthrough. I decided the best option would be the canon companions. Though the canon companions are never identified in this game, but in the sequel, it says who the protagonist was traveling with, because you do play as the same character in both games. And the companions that you were traveling with in the introduction to the sequel are the canon companions for this game. And so they're the ones I'll be pursuing, and they are mostly good aligned. And so I figured I'd play a good class instead of an evil class. Because in this game, if your reputation doesn't align with your companion's reputation, and you do things they don't like, they will leave. Or they will attack. There's different options. And some companions don't get along with others, and they'll attack each other. There's ways to circumvent all that, but also playing a good class will allow me to use a very powerful sword in the second game. And most of you are probably familiar with that. But I'm going to keep it vague enough so as to... I want to stay away from spoilers where I can, for people who are new to the game. So we'll be playing a Cavalier. This class represents the most common picture of the knight, the chivalrous warrior who epitomizes honor, courage, and loyalty. The Cavalier is specialized in battling classical evil monsters, such as demons and dragons. And I know I've heard it pronounced Cavalier. I'm going to call it Cavalier, just because it's easier. Advantages: +3 bonus to hit and damage rolls against all fiendish and draconic creatures. I feel like it doesn't play as big of a role in the first game as it does in the second, but it's still nice. May cast Remove Fear once per day per level, and you yourself are immune to Charm, Fear, Poison, and Morale Failure. Not moral, jeez. Not minus. It's a bullet point. 20% resistance to fire and acid. Disadvantages: may not use missile weapons. That can be circumvented with throwing axes. But we'll get into that later. So alignment, you have to be lawful good. Characters of this alignment believe that an orderly, strong society with a well-organized government can work to make life better for the majority of the people. To ensure the quality of life, laws must be created and obeyed. When people respect the laws and try to help one another, society as a whole prospers. Therefore, lawful good characters strive for those things that will bring the greatest benefit to the most people and cause the least harm. An honest and hardworking serf, a kindly and wise king, or a stern but forthright minister of justice are all examples of lawful good people. Abilities. So, this is the fun part. So when I installed this game, I did a few test rolls just to see what my luck was going to be like. The first time, I rolled it 3 times and I got a 91. Same class and everything. Second time, it was less than 10 and I got a 90. And then the third time, it took me like 150 tries before I hit a 90. So I plan on doing 50 rolls. I want to get at least 90. I know I don't have to. The game, I can start with just the 80 right here and it'd be fine. But we're gonna roll, I want to say 50 times. We'll get 50 attempts before I edit it out and try and get at least 90. Because it makes me feel better. Plus 9 is my favorite number. Because it's the last number before the zeros reset. That's why I like it. It's the end of the line. Because 10 is the 0 of the teens, and so on and so forth. I'll take my time here, because if I start clicking through it, it happens all the time. I'll be clicking through it, and I'll see a 9, and I just keep clicking, because I'm just in the habit of clicking, and I'm like, crap, but I'll be like 2 or 3 past the roll that I wanted. $90. Alright, that's really good. That didn't take very long, did it? Perfect. Alright, so we don't really need intelligence. You need a minimum of 3 wisdom for paladins. But you don't need more than that. You never need more than that. So bump up our strength. Dexterity 14 is good, because actually I don't remember. I know a lot of games that I play in 3.5 and above, you get up to 2 bonus dexterity with heavy armor. Yeah, that's the case here. I guess we'll see. Alright, that's fine. 18 Charisma, 17 Constitution. This is actually really good for a Paladin. So let's go ahead and hit done. Go to skills. I'm a little split about this, because one of the companions I'll be taking along will be using two-handed swords as well. And there aren't a lot of good two-handed swords in the first game. The second one introduces a lot more of them. So I'll probably do it like this. Because you get more pips. So you have enough to max everything up. Because I also want to get two-handed weapon style. Though this only increases... Oh, never mind. Alright, I remember this incorrectly. So when you put points into this... Yeah, so you get +1 or +1 to hit and +2 to damage. Let's see, I have 2 pips, right? So yeah, so +1 to hit, +2 to damage. And for warriors only an extra half attack. And here, longsword. We have 2 pips. Where's it at? Yeah, +1 to hit, +2 to damage. If we go down here to two-handed weapon style. 2 slots, the wielder gets a further -2 bonus to speed factor. The wielder gets a +1 bonus to damage rolls, a -2 bonus to speed factor, and the ability to score critical hits on a roll of 19 or 20 instead of just 20 when using a two-handed weapon. So we do want to get that because crits are nice. Then sword and shield style, which we'll probably be going for in the first game, will be acting as the tank because... No, we'll have a tank with us. I think this will be fine for now, because I'll be using longsword probably in the beginning. As I really don't think I'll be using two-handed sword in this playthrough. But the second game I will definitely be using two-handed sword. Yeah, so we'll do it this way. So appearance, there's some color sliders. I'm gonna go for like black hair, make it look like me, kind of. There we go, that's what it looked like, that pasty complexion. What's a good paladin color? Gold is usually good. I might go for black, though. That looks good, right? Then maybe... gold. Wait, it's kind of a bronzy color. That looks nice. We'll go with that.
All will die.
Oh, sorry, that's female. Hold on.
Death to you all! Your life ends here.
Time for a bit of the rough and tumble.
You got this coming!
I love the aggressive one.
Let's give them a right thrashing.
Get over here.
Feel my power. Do as I say, and I'll see you through the trials that await.
For justice. Follow me. Being a hero is hard work.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play as
Find the
Pete
rest.
from Mickey Mouse, so
Can we move on? Now? Soon? Too soon?
yeah, we'll do Pete. All right, so is it gonna show me? I might have to get into the game first to do it. I'm not gonna worry about the biography. You can type your own biography here. If you want, you make your own character. I'm fine with the default. Is that a period? It's like a comma because of the font. But I would go and read it. So inspired by your foster father's tales of chivalry and honor, from a young age you committed yourself to the pursuit of good and the punishment of evil. Candlekeep, which is the keep you start off in, is a world of many sacred and unspoken laws, and you have learned to uphold them all unquestionably. Your honesty and integrity have brought you to the attention of some of the keep's great readers, but none of them have had cause to call upon your services yet. While the Citadel sees the passage of the occasional ne'er-do-well, its regimented atmosphere rarely needs to be purged of evil. The peace of your surroundings should be comforting, but instead you find it stifling. You know your true place is traveling the realms, fighting evil wherever the need arises. You know little of how you came to be a ward of Gorian's, because your character is called Gorian's Ward in case you're not familiar. But over the years, you have gleaned something of your mother's tale from his vague illusions and from the words he sometimes uttered in tear-filled sleep. She was a human from Silvery Moon and a friend of his for many seasons. As you have no memory of her, nor any keepsakes to remind you of her existence, you've come to believe that she died while giving birth to you. Perhaps it was the pain of such a parting that led Gorian to cloister himself within the narrow halls of Candlekeep and raise you as his own. Of your father, you've learned nothing. That's an important plot point in the game. So here we are. This is my Paladin. I love this picture. Like, this is like the epitome, to me, of like an adventurer's portrait. There we go. It looks so good. And it doesn't have a shield in the portrait like that one guy I was considering. Because I might not be using his shield in the second game. So name. Most of you will be familiar with Donal. And accept. For rules, I had it set it. Okay, well there we go. So I didn't get a chance to explain Thaco, or to hit armor class 0. So the way it works is, so in like 3.5 and above, basically you take armor class and your attack roll, and you compare the two. And obviously you add any modifiers on top of that. Whichever one is higher wins. Unless you roll a 20 on attack, you're guaranteed to hit them. Thaco's a little different. So say I have 17 Thaco. So instead of attack, I have Thaco. It doesn't replace armor class. Armor class is still armor class. But unlike more modern iterations, you want your armor class to be lower in this game. And you can actually go into the negatives. So say I have 17 Thaco and an enemy has, I don't know. You know, let's say I have 10. I have 10 Thaco, so 10 to hit armor class 0. And they have 1 armor class. You take that 10, you subtract it by the 1, you have 9. So I need to roll at least a 9 in order to hit the enemy. And if it was negative 2, 10 minus negative 2 is 12. I need to roll at least a 12 in order to hit the enemy. And again, if you roll a 20, it's a guaranteed hit. We'll go into more detail on that once we actually get into the game. It's harder to explain than it is to show.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the Citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent most of your 20 years of life within this keep's austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorian. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold, that of your true heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
Alright. Alright, welcome to Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, everybody. Beautiful game.
I'm here to help.
I can't believe I picked the Pete voice. Oh, that's fantastic. Alright, so I'm going to call it here. Next episode we'll actually get started. There's some people to talk to around here, and it controls like most of the RPGs. You know, you can hold tab to highlight everything and all that jazz. I'm sure there's things I forgot to talk about and discuss in the game, in the introduction. But honestly, I'm so excited to play the game. I'm actually giddy. I'm giddy to play the game. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Next one we'll actually get our adventure started. We'll go into the inn, find us some golden pantaloons, maybe. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.